Greetings to anyone who may be watching this. My name is Brandon, and this is Bible Know How, a place where we talk about biblical knowledge and how to apply it in your everyday life. And today, I want to talk about something that everyone can probably relate to. I want to talk about, honoring God in a broken world. And I think everyone would probably agree that our world is pretty broken. It's broken, but I don't think it's completely without hope. I think it's still possible for us to honor God in such a broken world. In fact, I think that's what we should strive to do. We should strive to do just that. Honor God in this broken world. And I actually think that would allow our light to shine even brighter. We're supposed to be light and salt in the world. So honoring God in this broken world would allow our light to shine even brighter. So I have a few verses from Daniel chapter 1, actually, that I want to read and then talk about it. So the first I'm going to read is chapter 1, verse 8 through 9. And it says, Daniel determined that he would not defile himself with the king's food or with the wine he drank. So he asked permission from the chief eunuch not to defile himself. God had granted Daniel kindness and compassion from the chief eunuch. All right. So notice how Daniel had already determined in his heart that he would not defile himself with the food that pagans would sacrifice to their false gods, idols, things like that, or their wine. He had already determined in his heart, him and his friends, Hananiah, Azariah, and Mishael, I believe that's their names. So this is very important for us to follow. And the reason I say that, because just like Daniel and his friends, just like they had already made up their minds that no matter what, they were going to honor God and not give in to the practices of Babylon. Just like they had already made up their mind, I think the time to make the decision is not when it's suddenly thrown in front of you, in your face. See, I believe that when you have already made the decision in your heart before that time comes, then I believe that you will not hesitate to make the right decision to honor God when it's thrown in front of you. And this is one of the many ways you can honor God. God, he knows every person's heart. He does. He knows everyone's heart. And when you choose to honor him, I believe he'll turn right back around and he will honor you. Because if you look at verse 9, God did honor him. He allowed Daniel to find favor in the sight of the eunuch. So verse 9 already tells us so that, God will honor you. But I have something else that I want to read in the same chapter and really show you. And this time I want to read verse 17. And it says, God gave these four young men knowledge and understanding in every kind of literature and wisdom. So these, Daniel and the other three, because they decided to honor God, they had decided to, in their mind beforehand, that they were not going to bow down to the pagan king and bow down to Babylon's system, you know, Back then it was Babylon. Today, we have our world system that's completely messed up. And you can see that God, he honored them. Verse 17 shows you that. So because Daniel put God first, you see what the end result was. God had, he gave them understanding and knowledge in literature and wisdom, which later on in Daniel, if you go and read the book of Daniel, you'll see that this actually does it comes into play later on. So God allowed Daniel to find favor. But I want everyone to know this. The cool thing about that is God, he still works this way. God still works this way, and he'll do the same thing for us if we honor him. As a matter of fact, in 1 Samuel 2:30, it tells us this. 1 Samuel 2:30, it says, honor the Lord and he will honor you. And one thing I know about God's word is the Bible can't lie because it's God's word. And because God is not a liar, his word is not going to lie. So if God's word says that if you honor him, he will honor you, then it'll do just that. So we live in this messed up world, this Babylon, I guess you can say a modern day Babylon, but we don't have to conform to this world. We don't need to conform to this world. If we're a follower of Jesus, we say we're a follower of Jesus, we better not conform to this world. We gotta, be salt and light, be set apart, be separate from this world. And, Jesus calls us to do just that. So I hope that as everyone's going about their day, I hope this will give everyone something to think about. Even though we're in a broken world, we can still honor God, and we should honor God. Besides, when we honor God, it makes others wonder, like, what's different with him or her? Why are they not doing the same thing that everyone else is doing? Why are they not worrying about the same things that everyone else is worried about? Well, for one, God gives us a joy that's unshakable, that the world can't understand. And of course, that's a completely another teaching. But yeah, that's something to think about as well. So here's to hoping that everyone will have a great rest of their day. And here's to hoping that everyone will spend some time getting into God's word and studying it. Take care, everyone. See you on the next one.